Hey everyone, this is the Needs Geek, and today we are putting together a fantastic little gaming PC with some really great performance for the price. Before we get into that though, this is my first video, so let me give you guys some quick background. For the past 6 years, I've been having great success and a lot of fun building and selling gaming rigs, mainly those with a combination of used and new parts. In the process, I've come to really know my way around the second-hand market. Now, as we are all aware, 2021 was a terrible year for prices, the worst being with graphics cards going for 2, sometimes even 3 times their typical value. 2022, unfortunately, is looking to be no better. That being said, there are still opportunities in the used market to get some bang for your buck, especially when scoring some local deals. I decided to start this channel to share my love for hardware and hopefully help some of you that are either trying to build their own PC or are looking to get into the flipping business. So without further ado, let's get into the build. For the processor, we have an Intel 4th generation i7-4790 and an ASRock Z97-ITX motherboard. For memory, 16GB of HyperX DDR3 running at 1866 MHz. The GPU is an EVGA 1063GB. I was able to pick this combo up for $280, which is a steal considering the 1060 alone is going for up to $250. For storage, we have a 250GB SSD to boot from and a 500GB hard drive for some extra space. This is all powered by a 500W ARESGAME bronze power supply. Finally, this ITX build will all be housed in the beautiful H210i from NZXT. So with all that, let's get building. So this is the first time I've done a build in this case, and I think it's really cool. It's a little messy with cable management, but I was able to tidy it all up in the end with some zip ties. I got everything tucked away and out of sight. It's definitely the easiest ITX build I've ever done, and also one of the largest. It's kind of a hybrid between an ITX and a micro ATX tower, so this would look really slick on top of a desk for sure. Now let's get this thing loaded up with Windows. I'm still waiting for Windows 11 to work out its last kinks, so for now, I'm sticking to 10 on my builds. So I was getting this error every time I installed Windows, and also startup behavior was a little wacky with this motherboard. Sometimes it wouldn't even post. So I went ahead and loaded up memtest, and sure enough, one of the RAM sticks was throwing up a ton of errors, so I went ahead and switched it with another 16GB set. This is definitely something to be aware of when you're picking stuff up locally. Most of the time, it's just a great deal and everything works perfectly, but sometimes you'll get situations like this where maybe the seller knew there was an issue and didn't quite know how to fix it, so they just put it up for sale cheap without being completely honest. I've had a handful of these recently where thankfully it's just something small and can be easily fixed. In all my years doing this, I'm happy to say I've only been completely burned and lost money a few times. Windows is finally installed, so I'm going to go ahead and get everything all teed up here. I'm going to initialize the extra drive, install drivers, MSI Afterburner, and then I'll go ahead and fire up Heaven Benchmark to get the GPU all tuned up. Alrighty, so here's another issue. This 1060 is running pretty dang hot. Setting up a manual fan curve helps a little bit, but we're still pretty close to throttling, even with the temp and power limits up, so I've got to do some fixing again. I'll go ahead and replace the thermal paste on this guy and see if that helps. I'm also going to point out too, this is one of those 1060 models with the weak sauce heatsink. Look how thin that is. Ugh. Alright, so back into the benchmark here, and it looks like we got a nice 8 to 10 Celsius improvement, so let's see if we can get some overclock out of this now. Dang, so we've kind of hit the silicon lottery with this GPU. 220 megahertz on the core. What about 230? Nope. Okay, well, we know what our ceiling is now. Alright, the temperature seems to be sneaking back up now, so let's actually see if we can manage an undervolt and a moderate overclock here. These Pascal cards definitely benefit from it. Okay, so we have our curve here, 130 megahertz on the core at 900 millivolts, so it seems to be stable in real time, and I'm much happier with these temps. So we'll go ahead and bump up the memory clock now. $900 is no bueno. Okay, I'll just stick it at 600, quick and easy. So now I'll start the benchmark and we'll take a look at the numbers. So comparing stock with the overclock, the minimum FPS is a little lower than stock, but not by too much. I'll go ahead and come back a tiny bit on that overclock and call it good. Alright, we are all tuned up and ready to see how this little guy performs in games. And just a quick note, these are all at 1080p. First up, Halo Infinite. This game looks great, but unfortunately it has some optimization issues. I've got everything set to low, and I've also found that setting the minimum FPS to your monitor's refresh rate makes a huge difference. I think it has something to do with the game's adaptive resolution. Overall, it's playing really well, average of 68 FPS and some dips here and there. Next up, Forza Horizon 5. I've got this running on medium, and we're getting an average of 73 FPS, so pretty good. Definitely considering our meager 3GB of VRAM, not too shabby. Tomb Raider looking nice at around 55 FPS on high settings. Next, Biomutant. Just in the intro tutorial here with high settings, we have an average of 73 FPS, so no problem here. Red Dead Redemption 2. This is quite the demanding game, but we still manage 51 FPS on medium. Definitely dips frames here and there, but I'm pretty sure if you spent some time in the multitude of graphics settings in there, you could optimize it a little better and have a pretty good experience playing. Okay, and last but certainly least, Honestly, I hate Fortnite, but at the same time, I can't tell you how many PCs I've sold to parents so their kids can play it, so I guess I should thank it. Anyways. This new Chapter 3 seems to be more demanding. I've got this on medium settings. I tried both DX11 and 12, so side by side here, looks like DX12 is a little better, but more stuttery. 120 to 140 FPS, so you can keep your competitive edge against all those try-hard kids. Okay, so just to wrap things up here, I'll put up the parts list with prices to show how we did. $460. I feel like we did a pretty nice job here. As far as future upgrades go, I would say the i7-4790 could handle any GPU up to something like a GTX 1080 or an RTX 2060. All in all, if you're on a tight budget, these builds offer really good value, and it's a great sale for those looking to make some profit. Right after I got done filming this video, I posted this up on Facebook Marketplace for $650, and the next day I was able to sell this at asking price. If you'd like to see a video about how I put these up for sale and make some good profit, let me know in the comments. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, suggestions, or want to see more videos, comment below, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks, and have a great day.